Markets are cyclical in nature. When we look at the constituents in an index, there are certain stocks which do well and certain don't. Sometimes all the stocks in a particular sector do well due to the sectoral tailwind. There are many thematic funds which are in the market, which caters to the needs of an investor who likes to take a call on the sector. Let's see if this is the right thing to do. So I have chosen three sectors: banking, IT, and infra. Of course, there are many other sectors, but for example, I have just taken these three. Now let's look at how these have performed against the index. The date I have chosen for this is Jan 1, 2015 to the present day, and I have calculated the rolling returns for 1, 2, 3, 5, and 7. So this is for Nifty 500. The median returns are ranging from uh, the median returns over different time horizons are ranging from 11.5 to 14%. So if we are going to banking, for banking it is from 11 to 13%. And for IT, it is from 13.5% to 19%. For infra, it is from 10% to 13%, right? And now we have to look at the instances of negative returns. So this is the data here. So if you look at the instance of negative returns, for almost all the instances, this is like on a day change basis, it is approximately around 45%. There is not much of a difference there. So for Nifty 500 and banking, it is less than 20% for 1 year, right? So yes, so it is 18.78 and that's slightly over 19. But for IT and infra, this is around 30%. So 31.9 and 29.56. So for 2 years, Nifty 500 and banking had less than 10% of negative instances, right? Here as well. But for IT and infra, this is like around 20%. Look at infra, yes. So to check if there is any cyclicality, I have basically split the time horizons into two buckets. One is from 2015 to 19, and the other is from 2020 to present day, and calculated the rolling returns. So from 19 to 15 to 19, the median returns on a 3-year horizon for Nifty 500 are around 11%. There are no negative instances after year 3. For 2 and 1, it is like 0.4% and 26%, 27%. So now if we go to banking, so the median return is around 15% after year 3. No negative instances after year 3. So negative instances after year 2 are less than 3%. And for 1 year, it is 17%. So in this period, the banking has outperformed and exhibited more resilience and less volatility compared to Nifty 500. So if you look at Nifty IT, the median return is around 11% here and has 1 percentage points of negative returns even after year 3. For year 2 and year 1, it is 29% and 40% respectively. So the median performance, even though it is comparable to Nifty 500, so but the index was very volatile, right? Given the number of negative returns it has given to the investors. Now the infra during this time has done actually less than the basically it is around 4% and has around negative instances are around 13% even after year 3. And for 2 and 1, it is like 37% and close to 50%. Forget beating the Nifty 500 index, infra index did not even beat a savings account during this period. And it is the most volatile of all the indices. Now let's look at the period from 2020 to today. So Nifty 500 during this period has generated a median return of 19% after year 3 and no instance of negative returns after year 2 and year 3. And even for year 1, the negative instances are like around 8%, which is like quite less. So now let's go to banking. It has generated a median return of around 14% after year 3. No negative instances after 2 and 3. The 1 year negative instances are around 6%, but it has clearly underperformed the Nifty 500 by a huge margin, actually, around 5%. right? So IT index delivered a median return of around 13%. No negative instances after year three. For year two and year one, the negative instances are around 19% and around 24% respectively. IT has underperformed Nifty 500 and was very volatile as well this time. So now the turn of the infra index. Infra index has delivered a median return of around 25%. No negative instances after year two, and after year one, that is like less than 1%. So it has outperformed the 5500 index by a huge margin, around 6% actually. So now I have plotted all the charts for this across the time horizons. So from 2015 to 2019 here. So banking guys outperformed the Nifty 500 clearly. You can see it from here, right? And the other two have underperformed both both the IT index and the infra index. So IT index has recovered at this juncture, but if you look at it from year 2016, mid 2016 to almost till the end of 2018, for the 2 long years, it has outperformed, right? Even the infra index for that matter. And the infra index has exhibited the highest volatility. You can see the ups and downs, and it has done nothing. Like pretty much, if somebody has invested in 2015, so at the end of 2019, the returns were pretty much flat. So from 2020 to present year, so infra has generated humongous returns actually without exhibiting any downward volatility, right? If you look at it, it was going only in one single direction. It was up. That's all, right? And outperformed Nifty. So the laggards of the last cycle, right, which was infrastructure, has outperformed, and the banking, which has outdone the index, has underperformed actually. So that means like the cycles turn. So and and again, if you look at the IT, there's a huge amount of volatility. The cycle is lasting much shorter in the IT. Even here, if you are looking at it, so it has underperformed from 16 to 18 and outperformed from 18 to 19. So this start, if we are starting the index at this point, the IT returns would be like a lot higher compared to the index. In a similar way, so if you look at the IT performance from 2020 to 22, mid of 22, it has done extremely well. But again, it went into lows. Again, from 2024, it has done well for 6, 7 months. And the cycle is always there. It is like indicating a huge amount of volatility. See, after this analysis, the question we have to ask is whether should we invest in this thematic or sectoral funds or not. Let's answer this with the help of infra fund and what worked in its favor. So the valuations for the first 5 years have been like really very low, right? So in terms of the absolute returns from if somebody has invested in 2015 and look at his portfolio in 2019, the absolute return would have been around 6%, making the entire sector dirt cheap. And had somebody been accumulating in 2016, that would have been like a negative 26% for somebody who has put the money in Jan of 2015, right? And the other aspect which worked in its favor is uh, India government after coming into power from 2014 onwards, they have doubled the distance of highway which they were building on a daily basis compared to the previous government. So it indicated the priorities of the government as well. That is like infrastructure development. So this analysis is obviously with the benefit of hindsight. So, but if you are someone who are looking at this data and formed an opinion, you would actually be accumulating the money in this infra fund between 2015 and 19. And it has done nothing. And in fact, it has yielded negative returns for a huge amounts of time, right? We have seen the 1 year returns, negative instances have been close to 50% for this fund. So this would have resulted in superior returns between this time horizon from 2020 to 2024 ending. Again, 2024 ending onwards, it has corrected. So what most investors do is the reverse of this. They usually buy the funds after they had a stellar run, usually at the peak. right? Again, there is something which every investor has to be cautious about. That's the reason why many of the fund houses, you know, come out with new thematic themes at the peak of the cycle. But the case in point is the defense funds, which have come in the last 6 months. So from the month of maybe from April to June, August, there have been a lot of defense funds which have been coming into the market. So even after all the research, an investor has to understand that thematic funds are like really very highly volatile. You can see the charts compared to the index. Uh, be it the infra fund or else the IT fund, they have been extremely volatile, right? And they have to check whether it suits their asset allocation to fulfill the goals. Like in case you are like really very interested, it's ideal if you are going to an active fund manager who is adept at playing these market cycles. So this video is made for educational purpose only. It is neither a recommendation for you to buy nor sell the asset class and discussion. Thank you.